In the past 6 years, Henrick Larsson's Celtic career has brought untold joy to millions of Hoops fans worldwide. His goals-to-games ratio is phenomenal, as is his work rate, his overall ability and the way he conducts himself both on and off the park. He's officially the club's greatest foreigner. He's a former winner of the Golden Shoe and has rightly earned the status of Celtic legend, despite a serious leg injury 4 years ago. It's fair to say that Larsson has come a long, long way since that day in August 1997 when he made his Celtic debut.
Oh, my debut, it was the day I made Chick Shanley a big man in Scotland. They were screaming for him to play in the national team again. Oh, I played on the left. I came on as a sub. Wim wanted to use me on the left-hand side, he said, because he had a few injuries. So I came on and I got the ball, and I wanted to play to Darren Jackson, but he moved away. And I just handed over to Chick, and he shot and it went in, and we lost that game 2-1, I think, on my debut. So, but that's the way it is.
Well, Henrick came on as a substitute. He looked up, he saw me, he passed the ball to me. I picked it up, took a stride inside, looked up, saw Marshall, struck a shot, a beautiful shot, straight past Gordon Marshall, right into the adoring Celtic fans who were pulling their hairs out their head. I looked over, saw Henrick doing the same thing with his magnificent dreadlocks, and that was the day that Henrick made me a big man.
Are now going to bring on Henrick Larsson. Henrick Larsson. Oh, given away. It's Chick Shanley. What a hit! What a fantastic goal! Chick Shanley, one-time Celtic fan, has hit a devastating blow.
Larsson's Celtic career has been full of wonderful moments, and it's no surprise to learn what he rates as the highlight to date.
Getting the first championship, but also the treble-winning year was fantastic. But I have a lot of good memories from the time so far here at Celtic.
When I first came, I never really knew who he was. As I said, coming back from Germany, so I didn't really know too much about him. But when I first came back, he's the same as what he's always been, I think. Kind of laid back and just gets on with his job. But I don't think anybody can ever question what he's gave this club. It's been a phenomenal goal-scoring rate for him. And I'm sure if you ask Henry himself, he's loved his time here. I mean, the thing for us when we came, we had to stop the 10-in-a-row thing, which was unbelievable pressure, and that was probably the hardest one to have done. And for us or Henry as well, to be part of that sort of thing must have been a phenomenal thing, you know.
Yeah, it was a lot of pressure, even though you didn't realise it at the time, because as you say now afterwards, Rangers have won 9 times in a row. So if we could stop them from winning 10 in a row, they only would be second with that effort, and that doesn't really count. So it was good to come in and to win the league that year was very important.
The 9th of May 1998 was a pressure-filled day for Celtic fans everywhere as the club entertained St Johnstone at Celtic Park, needing a win to stop 10 in a row. Larsson and his striking partner at the time, Harold Brattbakk, produced the goods.
Oh, that day when you scored, it was just... because it was a big relief, because I think they had a few half chances before we scored the goal, where they went up the park and almost scored, and you could just feel the tension all around the park that day, and even the week before when we played Dunfermline away, when we almost won the league already there. When we came back, there was a lot of people crying and saying, please do it for us next week. And once that goal went in, it made us relax a little bit more, and once Haralds got in, the party was started.
Larsson's antics in and out of the penalty box have produced more than 200 competitive goals. And while there's always going to be a difference of opinion, the majority of Celtic fans seem to have one particular goal against Rangers as their favourite from a certain game in August 2000.
My favourite Henrick goal was against Rangers in the 6-2 game at Parkhead. He beat, I think, Bert Conterman and then ran through and then lobbed Close, and it was the way that Close had to look round, and as he seen the ball going over him, that's my favourite Henrick Larsson goal.
Where he nutmegged one of the Rangers' central defenders. There was 2 others pounding down behind him, and as calm as you like, he chipped the goalkeeper into the back of the net. I mean, that was professionalism at its absolute height. I thought it was a fantastic goal.
Nutmeg Conterman and then chipped the goalkeeper, you know, inch perfectly, beautiful. Oh, there was a goal out there against Rangers with Chip Stefan Kloss. It was a great goal, great finish. It just shows you the confidence when he could have took it round him or whatever.
With Henrik, it's always difficult because he scores so much that to actually pick out one is very, very difficult. But the pitch here in the 6-2 game when he pitched it over the keeper's head, that was pretty special.
Heavy defeat for Rangers in the day, which every Celtic fan will love. And it was a chip from the edge of the box, just lofting it over the keeper. Just the sheer cheek and the nonchalance, and just the way it summed up Henrick Larsson's game that day, and just the star qualities he has that he can do that. So we all see him scoring goals with his head and both feet, but on that day, that was for me, it was a perfect Henrick Larsson goal.
It's such a beautiful goal, piece of poetry, and I think that'll be the goal that'll always stay with me whenever I think of Henrick Larsson.
And Sutton sets up Larsson here. Larsson, oh, he's in! Henrick Larsson! That is sensational! He missed all 4 Old Firm games last season, but he rather enjoys making up for lost time. World class.
Well, that is world class, Ian. A special goal from a very special player. Chris Sutton does magnificently well in the first place to win it over Amoruso. Larsson on his way, look at that skill. And he has the confidence, the composure and the technique to chip it over Stefan Kloss. Look at the arrogance in that finish. That, as you say, is
the best option I thought at the moment was to try to chip it, and I did that, and this time it went in, and everybody was pleased.
Celtic 4, Rangers 1.
Manager for a year, Wim Jansen was the man who brought Larsson to Celtic Park, and it wasn't a difficult decision for the then 25-year-old.
Yeah, but he was the only one who wanted me at the time. I mean, I didn't hear anything else, and he was having inquiries about me and if it was possible for me to leave and how much I would cost. And once I heard that, there was no turning back. I mean, I just wanted to go. So it was important that he was here because, as I said before, he was the one who brought me to Holland, but he disappeared after 4 months.
It was a coup, if that's the right word, of a commercial coup of staggering proportions. Whoever was responsible for that bit of business, I think it was Fergus McCann, has a lot to be congratulating himself for and a lot for Celtic fans to be grateful for. It was a terrific piece of business. Henrik is one of the Celtic greats. Never mind the commercial side. Let me just take off my chairman's hat for one moment and be a supporter. He's one of the Celtic greats. He's the consummate professional. He can do it all. I'm the greatest admirer of Henrick Larsson.
Larsson arrived in Glasgow on the back of a less than memorable spell in the Dutch League. He just wanted, it seemed, to get back to doing what he does best.
To be fair, I didn't expect that much because I came from kind of a tough time at Feyenoord, so I was just trying to get my football going again. I knew that Wim, he knew what he had in me as a player, so I knew that I would get my chance. Celtic, I mean, I heard a little bit because Celtic were playing against Feyenoord in one of the cup finals, so I knew a little bit about Celtic, but I didn't know that much. But yeah, now and then you learned quite a bit about Celtic, what it means to different people. So the expectation at the time when I came wasn't that high, but it was a great move for me.
Well, first and foremost, it's obviously his goals that everyone recognises his great play for. But I think his game outside the box is fantastic. I don't think he's got a weakness. His left foot can be just as strong as his right. He's very brave, he's terrific in the air. And I think maybe something that people don't realise, I think his temperament is absolutely 100% spot on. The amount of times as a striker that you might get a slap off the ball, you might take a heavy tackle, he seems to ride everything, and no matter what happens, no matter what's thrown at him, he doesn't lose his cool, he doesn't lose his patience at all, and he must be a dream player for a teammate or a manager.
Individually, he's an excellent footballer. He's capable of turning games, and he's done it so often for Celtic in the past, and hopefully will continue to do so for at least a little while longer, that you tend to forget that he is an exceptional team player. I think you only have to look back at his performance against Dundee when we went down to 10 players, and where he dropped that back into almost like a left-hand side midfield role, and he was excellent. Not only did he play well, he used his head to play in that position as if he had played it for umpteen seasons, and I think that was probably as good an illustration as any that he was prepared to go and work for the team.
We've got a lot of talented individuals, but Henrick's a talented individual who works his socks off for the team. He's a great team player and a great player.
I see myself as a striker, but I don't see myself as just a striker staying up in the box and getting the goals. I like to link up as well. You can say I'm a modern striker in that way, because I like to move a lot over a lot of the area on the pitch. So, but yeah, I like to score goals, obviously.
The striker's goals speak for themselves, but that's not the only thing he brings to the party. He's a selfless player and also likes to lay on the odd goal or two for his teammates.
The highest honour I could pay Henrick Larsson would be, he'd be third in the all-time list of my favourite players at Celtic, behind Billy McNeil and the great Jimmy Johnson, and a bigger tribute I don't think anyone else can pay him.
I think Henrick would agree with you. I think we've felt the number 7 jersey quite well over the years, and I'm glad, because I mean he's been a great, he's been a tremendous tribute to a tremendous attribute to the Celtic, what they bought him for, and where he was lingering. I mean, nobody, when you first seen him playing, would ever imagine the heights that he's got to with the Celtic. He's been tremendous.
Larsson is always making the headlines for all the right reasons and seems to take the constant media attention, like everything else, in his stride.
Yeah, how do you handle that? I mean, yeah, for me it's just not to read it, not to listen too much into it, because I mean, 1 week you're up there, next week you could be down there. So there's no grey areas in the media. So just I'm not reading it. I mean, obviously sometimes I have a look, but I'm trying not to read it, because I don't need anybody to tell me when I've been playing bad or when I've been playing good. It's enough that the teammates does that when you play good and when you play bad.
The current holder of the number 7 jersey comes in a long line of famous Hoops players, and Celtic will hope this lucky streak will continue long after Larsson's departure.
The number 7 now will be, without doubt, a hallowed thing. If it wasn't before with Johnson and Dalglish, it certainly is now. But I think, quite frankly, you can't go in the shadow or footsteps of Henrick Larsson as you couldn't with Dalglish or with Johnson. I remember when Dalglish left, I went to my bed for 2 days solid. I'm looking forward to a lie-in in a year's time because it'll be that sort of dramatic. But we're Celtic and we will go on.
Irreplaceable is the word. He should retire the jersey.
I think when he does eventually go, it'll be an unbelievable act to follow, whoever make him in. But he's left the club. The way I always think, when you come in the door, you come in with a smile and you leave with a smile as well. But as I said, what he's done for the club, or his goal scoring rate, has been nothing short of phenomenal, really. But as you said there, everybody needs players round about him, and I'm sure he'll be the first to say he appreciates the guys he's got round about him. You mentioned it there that we have got many good individuals, but sometimes you've got to gel them together. And in this current era now, we have got a really strong side, and Henrick's been a major part of it.
Nobody will replace Henrick. Nobody at all.
The Swede is no different from any other Celtic fan when it comes to Old Firm games, and his record there is very impressive too. Played 20 in the league, scored 10, set up many more, and always enjoying himself.
The atmosphere in them games are very tense, especially around the park. You hear the singing and you hear everything going on. But yeah, you try to treat it as another game, but that's impossible. You have to play in one of them to understand what it's really like, because it's very hard to communicate on the pitch that day. It doesn't go silent though, because we always get enough people there anyway, so they share for the rest as well. So, but it's if you score home, you score away, it's always a great feeling.
Was that a push from Bert Konterman? Yes, it was. And now the chance for Henrick Larsson to make it 2. Henrick Larsson's 8th Old Firm goal, his 14th of the season. Celtic 2 goals in front.
How easy this man makes it. What wonderful control for that.
It is Larsson.
Off the side of Larsson's head. Beautifully judged. He makes himself invisible and then pops up. They find it impossible to cover this man. Been showing good judgment today, and he nips. The deft touch. He just gets a touch.
Larsson. Oh, he's in! Henrick Larsson! That is sensational! He missed all 4 Old Firm games last season, but he won
making him look slightly silly.
Tessa delivers. Larsson's header! He's done it again! It's a double for Henrick Larsson! Two players making good runs for that one. But here's a chance for Celtic when Larsson.
There he is! Oh. Good corner kick there.
There's no doubt in my mind that the talents of Henrick Larsson's are valued internationally. I mean, it's no fluke to get the golden boot.
When he played in the national team with us, I think he was a huge example in good behavior. He prepared very well, he was very concentrated. As we talked about earlier, he was very team-oriented, and at the same time he has a fantastic character as a private person. So he is one of the best examples for leading others I have seen.
He's definitely up there with the best I've ever played with. You know, as you say, I've been fortunate enough to play with the likes of Ian Wright and Dennis Bergkamp, and obviously with Wales, Mark Hughes, Ian Rush, and now Giggsy and Bellamy, people like that. But Henrick, there just seems to be no respite with him. You know, he just wants to do better every game. If he goes and gets one or two, he wants to go and get a third or a fourth. In training every day, you have to work with him every day to realise what a top-class player he is. And I knew Chris Sutton before I came here. I didn't know Henrick, obviously. And Chris told me what a wonderful player he was. But it's only till you work with someone that you realise. And there's nothing I can really say about him that hasn't been said before. You know, it's just my opinion. And like everybody else, you know, he's an absolute world-class player. There's no doubt about that.
Celtic's top goal scorer in recent times has been heavily influenced by many world-class players in all positions, including Peter Schmeichel, Ryan Giggs and Marco van Basten.
If you look at Van Basten, I think he finished when he was 28 to 29. And I remember him in the '88 European Championship when he scored a goal against Russia. It was Russia at that time. And if you don't remember it, have a look at it, and then you understand why. I mean, he was a phenomenal player, and I lived a few years in Holland as well, where he's more or less God, and he's just a great player, great striker. And Ryan Giggs, I think the pace he has and still got the control of the ball. I think he's probably one of the best wingers out there.
Larsson's injuries haven't kept him down. His leg break in Lyon in 1999 only put him out of the game for 7 months, and there was never any question that he would come back even stronger than before.
No, there was no doubt whatsoever in my mind that I wouldn't play. I mean, I was sitting there in Lyon and broke my leg, and I just thought, you have to face it, and it may be easier to accept the injury like a broken leg than a broken jaw, because, I mean, after a few weeks it felt all right, but you weren't allowed to go out and run because that could disturb the healing process. But once I got my broken leg, I never had any doubt that I would come back. I mean, I had a good surgeon and that took care of me, and also, I mean, all the medical staff here. Oh yeah, you always know. I can remember I came on against Dundee. I played a few under 21s, but that's never the same thing. So when I came on there, you were nervous and yeah, a little bit scared. You want to have that bang straight on, so you know that it's healed. But I didn't get it. I didn't get it until the European Championship. So, but once you got that first bang, there was no problem.
The Swede is a defender's nightmare, as many throughout Europe will testify. Larsson is a handful in dangerous positions, and no one can really enjoy such an unenviable task as trying to stop him.
Extremely difficult. I think it's to play in games against him, and I think I've got him under control. And he pops up and scores a goal, just right timing, right place at the right time. He's just a star quality that he has got, and that's what makes him such a star, because he is the right place at the right time. I don't think he can be taught that. At times at Pataudry, I thought I had him under wraps, and I was close to him and everything was going right. He'd pop up and score. He's done it here at Firher as well with a great result. It was 0-0, everything was going well, and that man again, Henrik, pops up and scores a goal with his head.
Larsson's second goal in Seville was his 200th for the club. To score not once but twice in a European final, only to end up on the losing side, still rankles with him today.
It's still very sore when you mention it, because scoring 2 goals in a final and not winning doesn't give you any joy. We wanted to win that, but unfortunately we didn't. It's still very, very, very sore, but I just want to forget it, because it's. I don't think I will get that chance again, but you never know.
I think it's raised the profile, and also it's raised the standard of Scottish football. I think, especially last year, what we achieved in Europe, I think that's really raised everything as well, and everybody's expectations. I think we're happy before maybe to just, you know, get in and get to the second round. Now we expect to win, we want to win, and I think that he's got a lot to do with that, but so is the whole team, and I think it comes back to that, Henrik being a team player.
No winners' medals for the Celts in Spain, but through his time here, the most modest of forwards has picked up awards from all over the world.
Oh, it's always nice to win awards, because I mean, in the end of the day, it's a team game, and if you can get a few personal awards, that's always nice. But you can't forget the reason why you get them is because you have 10 or 15 or 20 other players that help you to achieve that. So I think that they are as much part of that as me at the time, because you can't win them awards alone. You have to have somebody to set you up or make a good pass for you in order for you to score a goal and in order to play well.
That's the sign of a top-class player, when someone's in a better position to just roll the ball to and for somebody else to score, then he does that. He sees that opportunity, and when he sees that, it's better for him to have the opportunity than he'll have a shot himself. But and I think that obviously has brought my game on as well, playing with him, that I seem to have got more unselfish playing with him, because you tend to appreciate what he's doing for you, so then you want to return that favour. Last season, if you remember, we had quite a few injury problems and suspensions, where Chris bust his arm in the final and was out for best part of 2 months. Henrik was the same when he did his jaw. And then we had to fill in, I played a lot with Chris, and then I played with Henrik when Chris was out. So it helps, obviously, if you've got someone who's got 200 odd goals. His record obviously speaks for itself, and it stands out more than anybody else.
His European record also speaks for itself. He's now scored 31 goals in only 48 matches. No other player in Britain has scored more goals with one club than Larsson has with Celtic.
Players in the middle, who's going to get the touch is Henrick Larsson. There's not the best of clearances though. There's a chance, and it's there. Celtic have scored one chance, and he picks it up. Henrick Larsson deep into stoppage time.
Now Moravcik looking for Larsson. Is he on the end of this? Henrick Larsson! A fine strike to open the scoring after 24 minutes. It's Henrick Larsson's 7th goal of the season.
Little ball inside, and that's it. Second goal.
That's a penalty. Larsson to take, and does.
Corner kick. They can score. And Henrick Larsson's done it. 5 minutes left. 3-0 denied Hartson.
Henrick Larsson.
Celtic, and who else? Goal poacher extraordinaire. This fellow cannot stop scoring goals. Eyes for Sutton as well as Balder goes in. What's the referee seen? It's a penalty goal. He doesn't miss many. He hasn't missed again. 3-2.
There's a little touch to the side. That's a very difficult angle, and that is his first ever European goal.
Enormous pressure on this man. He's done it. Celtic back on level terms. Oh, there's Silla. He's away. Larsson is inside. He's done it. Little cutback. That's a good ball. It's there. Larsson in the air once again. Now be to Sutton. That's a good layoff. Larsson with the reverse pass for Hartson. Henrick Larsson again. Larsson has scored. With a chance. Larsson for Celtic, 15 minutes gone. He's done it again. Beautiful turn, and there's Larsson again. He'll go, and it's in. No! He's claiming the goal, and I think it went in. That is a very good ball indeed, and it just got away. It's in. Larsson got the touch. Celtic are 1-up. This man makes it.
Petrov to Larsson, it's still Larsson. Larsson with a great chance for a third.
Could that be better?
Thompson, there's a lot of curling in it. Varga almost getting a touch and it's in. The ball loose inside the box.
But now it's Celtic's turn through Larsson. And Larsson has scored. Henrick Larsson right out of nothing. Larsson had a man outside him but chose to go in his own way and gave the keeper no chance.
Totally miscued, and there's Henrick Larsson. Beautifully taken goal. A total blunder by the two central defenders. And what an important step by Henrick Larsson there.
And he's in there again.
Larsson's goal scoring is only one of the reasons why the Celtic fans have taken him to their hearts. It's all in a day's work, however, for the man who's in the middle of his 7th and probably final year at the club. He takes the acclaim with the same finesse as he takes his chances in front of goal.
Yeah, you have to. You can't get carried away. I mean, I appreciate every ounce of the support I get. But you can't let it get to your head. You just have to keep a little bit distance to it. And I mean, sometimes when you're away somewhere and people start singing, it's a little bit embarrassing because you don't know what to do. But it's obviously nice. I mean, it's better that way than the other way around.
I've lost people before, I doubt. Recently, no one half as good as him, but I mean, you've just got to get on with it. I mean, can't grudge him going at all. The service he's given us. First class.
I think he's a very clever man, and I know him a little personally. And I think he made up his mind. He had made fantastic 10, 12 years with the national team, and even with Helsingborg. And he went out in Europe and he made very good success. Good advertising for Swedish and European football.
You're going to try and make me cry, aren't you? You know, I think we just need to enjoy it. Don't worry about it. We'll never replace him. We'll never be the likes of him again. Let's just enjoy the last year, and we'll take care of it after that. I think. Well, win the league this year, give us some good memories, get another 53, maybe 54 goals for us, and then there'll be fun memories, and that's all we need.
I can't really talk about it. It's just, you know, it'll break my heart. It will break my heart when this man goes, and I wish him all the best. I wish him all the best in the world. He's done a joyous thing for Celtic. He's brought us so much fun, so much happiness, and scored so many goals. And it's just, there'll be a lot of sad people when that man goes.
The best years of his life have been given to professional football at the very highest level. It's not, however, only the time he spent with Celtic that has made him the star he is. The years he gave to Sweden have played a huge part too, to such an extent that finishing 3rd in World Cup USA '94 is his greatest achievement in the game.
No, it's the highlight of my career. I mean, it doesn't get bigger than that. Obviously, yeah, if you win it, but for a small country like Sweden, it was a great achievement. I was fortunate enough to get 2 World Cups and 1 European Championship. But yeah, at the end, for me, I felt, I'm turning 32. Yeah, I could have gone on for a few more years, but at the same time, it's a lot of travel involved, and I felt we travel a lot with Celtic as well. I wanted to, take it a little bit easy on those days because I'm not getting any younger. You might want to stretch your career, and that's one way of doing it. And I had, almost 10 years with the Swedish national team. It was 10 tremendous years. But everything has to come to an end, and young players has to take over. So I thought it was time for me to step down after the World Cup. I couldn't see myself going on till the European Championship, but that's only next year now. but at that time it seemed very, very far away, and that's why I took the decision already before the World Cup. I kept it for myself. I told it to my family and friends, but for me it was a planned decision. It wasn't a decision that I just made out of disappointment going out of the World Cup.
Well, I think he is one of these rare players that he's developing despite being older and older. So I think he'd take a huge step, I would say, when he came to Celtic, and especially after the unluck he had with his injury when he broke his leg. After that, he's playing on a level that I never seen him play before. So Celtic must have been good for him. No one would be more glad than I if he would change his decision to come back to the national team, especially now when we're going to Portugal next summer. If he would change his mind and would like to play again, I would really be happy.
When he eventually does leave, the club will continue to go forward, and even Larsson himself is unsure as to what the future holds. He does, however, know that the prospects are bright with the young talent at Celtic Park.
Nobody knows. I mean, you need to keep on building, and it's hard to say. I mean, you can sit here and say this and sit that and say that, but you just have to wait, and you have to be patient. But that's what you have to be, and then you have to see. I mean, it's very hard to plan anything, what we're going to do in 2 years' time or in 5 years' time. Only time will tell. If you look at, I mean, Sean obviously been there now for almost 2 years. But you look at John Kennedy coming through, Beattie, Liam Miller, Ross. There's a few players coming through, and that's always good because it's impossible to have a big club without having some youngsters getting through, because they have to have a chance to get through to the first team. Otherwise, it's no point in having the youth set up.
The young boys that come in look up to Henrick. Henrick gives them advice, especially the forwards, obviously. Little Sean Maloney, he takes a lot of advice off of Henrick, and he's really good with the younger players. He tries to help them along.
It must be a wonderful example that he sets, not just in a match day every Saturday, but in training every day, and that must be a great thing for any young player coming in here, and to see the way he prepares for games, to see the way he looks after himself, and to see his absolutely single-minded attitude to scoring goals on a regular basis. And no matter what the game is, he seems to produce the goods. So it's been an astonishing spell for Celtic in the time that Henrick Larsson's been here.
When you look at the whole first team squad, obviously Liam's got kind of Paul and Neil and them to learn off, and Stellian as well, who's young as well, and Sean obviously the same strikers as myself, John and Chris, and obviously Sean was in a couple of years before me, so he was learning off Lubo and whatever, but obviously to have Henrick to learn off special.
It's so special, in fact, that he's tormented defences at home and abroad ever since he started wearing the hoops. His goals have come from all types of situations, but they all have one common bond. He just loves finding the back of the net. Sit back and enjoy.
Classic finish.
There's a header, and is it in? It is his second of the afternoon. Henrick Larsson! What a strike! That's the hat-trick!
to Larsson, and it's a goal. It's a goal, it's a great goal. Goal for Larsson. He's round the keeper. It's a goal! Henrick Larsson, it's a goal! A great goal there from Henrick Larsson.
So very well above Henrick Larsson. Almost 18 minutes gone and the inevitable happened.
Larsson is a goal!
Henrick Larsson with the chance to open the scoring, which he does. It's Henrick Larsson. It's 2-0, and that could be game over.
Well, he really misses. He doesn't this time either. Heart suffering.
That's a fourth goal. Henrick Larsson chips it, and it's a goal! A wonderful goal from Henrick Larsson. It's just a delicate chip. It just goes too high out of the reach of David Priest.
That's Larsson! And again he does it from the standing jump. Henrick Larsson. McNamara to Sutton. Now John Hartson into a dangerous position, and Henrick Larsson scores. Thistle's resistance is broken.
Here's Larsson. And Henrick Larsson reaches another milestone in his Celtic career. Dispossessed by Alan Thompson, cuts it back, Larsson! And Henrick Larsson slots home the winner again in stoppage time. Trying to get Celtic back level. It's Larsson! Brilliant! 8 minutes, 1-1. Larsson trying to go round outside of Kuznetsvili. It's Henrick Larsson. And he's found the way through.
Well, that's in, yes, cleanly taken. He's hardly been in the game, but then that's a mark of quality. Now then, Larsson ought to put it away, and he does, with delightful ease. When he gets a chance like that, he makes it look ridiculously simple. Of course, it never is.
touch from Alan Thompson. Time to measure the cross. And what a header from Henrick Larsson. The deadlock is broken 5 minutes from half-time.
After 72 caps for Sweden, Larsson retired from the national team, but returned home once more in the summer of 2003 as Celtic embarked on a pre-season tour. Martin O'Neill's side played and won all 3 matches, and the Super Swede even managed to score against former club Helsingborg, which is also the city where he grew up.
It's always nice to play home because since I stopped playing the national team as well, I don't come home that very often to play games. And it was nice to go to the few places there, especially Helsingborg. I mean, I haven't been back playing there since 1995, and then I got 20 minutes at the time. Coming back playing there was very good because, even though it wasn't my first club I started with, it was the club that gave me the chance to come out to Europe and be a professional footballer.
Celtic fans here. From nothing, Matthias Lundstrom. A move on here, Larsson gets a header, and immediately Henrick Larsson heads it into Connie Rosen's bottom left-hand corner. Magnus Hedman outstretched, both are on play. Quickly, Petrov from the edge of the D and equalises. 130 yards and scores. Fantastic goal. 19 minutes on the clock.
It's a really beautiful city, but you don't see that when you live there. It's the more you've been away. I've been away for almost 10 years now. You see it, especially in the summer. It's a fantastic city. You don't need to be anywhere else. But you should come and visit in October, November when it's not that pleasant, but it's a beautiful city.
The city of Helsingborg is where it all started for Larsson, and even before he opted for professional football, he knew exactly what he wanted to do.
I used to watch English football on Saturdays. At 4 o'clock it started for us. And they used to show a lot from Liverpool, Tottenham, at those days where I think we're playing the passing game, where a lot of other English teams were just launching it forward. You watched Kenny Dalglish, you watched Kevin Keegan and the way they played, and it was just something extra on that Saturday because normally you wouldn't see that much football on television. You might see an odd European game, but that was mainly in the later stages of the competition. So they had was good to have that on Saturdays.
Now then, 1-1. Oh, he does that so well. That's a brilliant chip.
Kick set up, Celtic's goal.
Left by Larsson for Sutton, and Henrick Larsson shooting out.
And he's in there again. Into the box he goes.
Minutes into the second half. Henrick Larsson. Absolutely no hesitation.
They find it impossible to cover this man. They let him loose and they suffered. tremendous goal. Well, the snow might be coming down, but it doesn't blind him that time. Oh, that's the deftest of touches again.
There may have been a slight debate about what's Larsson's best goal, but there's complete agreement when it comes to what the 32-year-old should do next and what it will be like when he finally moves on. Quite simply, every single Celtic supporter wants him to stay.
We'll certainly miss him. We'll miss him, but at the same time, he'll live on with us. I think he'll always be an inspiration. And again, I don't know him personally, but surely he'll miss us as well.
I'd like him to stay for another 5 years, but I don't know. I think it looks as if he's already made his mind up on that one, so we can only hope that he'll change his mind if we win the Champions League.
He's made his mind up, you know, and everybody's got to respect that decision that he's going to go on. It's a great way to go. I mean, to be recognised as an icon really for a lot of people. Maybe coming back here in future years would be a nice thing for him, but people have different ways of seeing football. I've got one more after this, and then that'll be myself, but Henrick's done it a year before me, but no, good luck to him. He's been, as I said, he's been more important for me. He's been a good guy, which is really important, as well as a great player, but as a guy, he's first class.
I think any Celtic fan, and I'm a Partick Thistle fan, any Celtic fan will tell you that we would love him to stay, and I think everybody, to a man, he's simply irreplaceable, I think, and it's going to be very, very difficult for Celtic to replace the talent that he is.
Very emotional. I can't contemplate it. It'll be just, I don't even want to think about it.
Without doubt, I think everybody would. He seems a quite stubborn guy in that way, and he said he's made up his mind on it. But I'm sure Martin O'Neill and the board there can be quite persuasive at times, and hopefully we can get him to play on, because he's still a young guy. I mean, next year he's only 33, I think he's just turned 32 there. And in terms of way how long players play now, he can go on and on. But if he feels he wants to finish at the top at Celtic, I can understand that. He's been away from his home country a long time, and he feels maybe it's time to go back, and people remember him as being a top quality player. But I think he can do that for another few years.
I'd love to see him stay. Everybody would love to see him stay, but I don't know if he will or not. So hopefully I'll be ready to step in and fill his boots.
From a personal point of view, I'd love to see him stay on, yeah. But I mean, Henrick's decision, if he's made his mind up to go, hopefully we can change his mind and keep him here.
If he chooses to, then I don't see any reason why he can't play at the top level for another couple of years. But he seems to have shaped his career very well. He said for a long time now that he'll be leaving Celtic Park. I'm sure maybe the manager will try and change his mind on that. I think if you look at him playing just now, his fitness is at a very high level. and I think he could go on for a good while yet, but I think you have to respect the decision that he makes, and there's something, I think, to be said for a player who's served the club so well to go out on such a high. And remember, without Henrick Larsson there would have been no appearance in the UEFA Cup final last season, because his goals at home and away took Celtic to the UEFA Cup final, and in fact kept them in it, because he scored 2 goals out of nothing. So in my view, he's probably been the most important goal scorer Celtic have had since Jimmy McGrory.
Henrick will be very difficult to replace. His goal scoring prowess, his overall ability is something that I mean we've come to really enjoy here, and he's been a major part of the team now for quite a number of years, and his whole record is absolutely phenomenal. What we have to do is, when he goes, we have to replace. It's as simple as that, and you have to. Life goes on, and there'll be a void there for a while, without a doubt, and it'll be one that we will find very difficult to replace. I suppose you could ask me the question: has Lubo Moravcik been replaced at this moment? So some great players that come in and touch your lives for a few years and finally move on. That's the sad part about it. But the football club will exist. Somebody will be here to pick up the cudgels and go on. And who's to say that it might not come from within our midst at the moment? But it'll be difficult, as I mentioned earlier, and it'll be a sad day when he leaves the club as well too. You know, he's one so very, very popular, and quite rightly so. You don't get that popularity without being a good player. And a sad day for everyone concerned. And I'll wait until that sad day arrives before then I start to put, is it plan B or plan C or plan D into operation, or whatever the case may be. It might be plan F, try and replace him. Sorry, it's plan P, panic.
See, nobody knows. You know what that is, because I don't know myself. Obviously, I would like to continue playing. I would like to go, I would love to go to Spain, actually, and get a decent team and get some sun on my body, which I love, and then we see. But I mean, I've never been a guy that plans a lot, because if it doesn't go through, you just get disappointed. So I'm just gonna wait and see. I might go home and play in Sweden, and if I do that, I go and play for my first club, Högaborg. But if I don't do that and I want to stay outside Sweden, I would love to go somewhere where it's nice and hot.
Like here?
Yeah, it's a lovely country, and don't get me wrong, I said it before, I never complained about the weather. I knew that when I signed that it's not gonna be sun every day all year round. I knew what kind of weather it was, but I think as well, I mean, when you've been long enough at the club, I think it's time to move on, and my time has come to move on.
Henrick Larsson is more than worthy of the oft-misused title Celtic Legend, and he deserves his place in the hearts of Celtic supporters, from Seattle to Stockholm to Shettleston. The fans have played an enormous part in his success, and we're sure he'll miss them as much as they will miss him.